The first two races of these championships way back on Sunday determined which two crews would take the first qualifying places in the final. That was the United States and Germany, so these next two races will determine which crews join them. So just two from each race to qualify for the final alongside America and Germany. And the remaining three crews from each race will have to contest the small final. And the five-boat lineup here on the far side in the yellow and red strip. That's China. Next to them, Canada, Belarus in the center. Then Denmark, a crew that is unchanged from that which took 9th place at Lucerne. And on the near side, the Russians in the blue strip. A rerun there of the start, showing clearly the traffic light system, which has been such a success so far in the racing at these championships, and has done so much to cancel out the negative aspects that last year's false starts brought. The athletes getting clear signals about when the man intends to say go, and we're now 500 meters out from the start, and it's Belarus who's making all the running. There in the center of your picture, closely followed by Canada on the far side, some 2/3 of a length back.
Certainly that sort of distance in an 8, although it looks very close, actually feels quite comfortable. An 8 being nearly 60 feet long, someone's got to make a really spectacular effort to make that distance back. So at this level of racing, you would expect not to give that away too easily. So the crews go through 1,000. And still with Belarus leading Canada in 2nd place. Those are the two qualifying positions for the grand final, with Russia in 3rd position in lane 5 closest to us. Crews settling down. The Russians will know exactly what's required of them. They've got to get their nose in front of that Canadian crew if they're going to qualify for the final and have a chance for a medal in the grand final. It's a very powerful looking Belarus crew, particularly through the middle of the boat there. 3, 4, 5 and 6, but very strong indeed.
Belarus second only to Russia, I would guess, in terms of the way in which they've come on in strength in rowing since the split of the former Soviet Union. And we're seeing a crew that really reflects that power now as they maintain that lead ahead of Canada. And the Russians in 3rd place here at the moment, still got it all to do. And China well out of it over on the far side. There still must be about 2/3 of a length between 2nd and 3rd slots at the moment. But the Belarus girls can look back, they can see the opposition coming at them and just have to maintain this lead. And the pressure really on for the Russians, who have to come back on the Canadian girls.
I would guess that if the Russian girls are going to make a move, they're going to have to do it very, very soon indeed, because they'll be running out of time, and 30, 40 feet of distance is just too much to make up in an 8 over 20 strokes. So they're going to have to start pouring on the power now over this last 50 strokes if they're really going to get back on terms with the Canadians for that 2nd qualifying slot. So they're through that 1,500 meter marker. They're racing down towards the finish. In Belarus, certainly not comfortable, but well in command of this race. Canada know they've got to fight to hang on to that position. I'm sure the Russians won't give it up easily.
Belarus there with the nucleus of the crew that took 5th place last year at Indianapolis, and almost assured of another place in the grand final this time round, so looking to improve on 5th place. Canada again with the nucleus of the crew that could manage only by winning the small final last year. But with 250 meters to go, surely it's all over bar the shouting for the Russians. They've let this one slip away from them. As you've just said, John, at the with 500 meters to go, that was the time to spring a surprise attack on Canada. But it never materialized, and that's why we see Belarus leading the way home. Half a length up on Canada. These will be the two qualifiers for the grand final for the women's 8s on Sunday. And these girls can now afford to just sit back just a little and relax on that lead. Belarus over the line, 2/3 of a length ahead of Canada.
Yeah, they look delighted with that performance, Robert. And as well they should. Look very disciplined, look very controlled, and look very well ordered and drilled. The Canadians, I think, actually probably rode as well as they could have expected to in that race. And the Russians, I suspect, also will feel slightly disappointed they weren't able to put a little more pressure on through that second 1,000 meters. Belarus Cox celebrating in slightly flamboyant fashion there. I'm sure the rest of the crew will be delighted to see it.
And as we see, that race was more properly called a repechage rather than a semi-final, but the result remains the same. Belarus and Canada through to the grand final. Russia, China and Denmark will contest places 7 to 12.